Well, rainfall is indeed having another eventful day as we go into today. Already, as we know already, this rainfall activity that we are receiving will go on throughout the majority of the weekend, including today, tomorrow, and even Monday. And then also, we're talking about some more potential activity later into next week as well. So all of this is just the start, and so this will continue into tonight, going through Sunday, Monday, warming trend next week with highs in the mostly in the 80s, lower 90s, and flash flooding threat. It is there, it's localized to maybe even scattered. So all of that we're going to go in and talk about. So if you have not hit the like button yet, go in and do so. Also, the subscribe button. We have around a good 5 people watching right now and only 2 likes. So if you're a part of that group of 3 that have not hit the like button yet, go in and do so. It is free. So what's going on right now throughout the entire U.S.? We do have some showers going on, obviously, in South Carolina. Some thunderstorm activity maybe as well, but for the most part, this is what we're looking at. If we see what's going on throughout the entire U.S., we do have some rainfall going on throughout West Virginia, just the entire southeast in general, receiving some rainfall activity. Louisiana receiving some of that rainfall activity down inside of Texas as well. Some severe weather even going on over here in Texas. Some rainfall going on in Missouri, going into New England, and also the mid-Atlantic. And then over here in the west, we have some rainfall activity going on. Now, what's going on in terms of our cloud cover? Cloud cover right now seems to be pretty much statewide. I mean, we're seeing cloud cover from the PD areas to the Grand Strand to the Low Country. Everybody is receiving cloud cover. And if we go in and take a look at our cloud cover for the future, you definitely can still see this cloud cover activity as we move into tomorrow morning, going into tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening. I mean, it's just continuing to stay cloudy even as we go into Memorial Day. Current temperatures right now, we're talking about around a good 77 in Beaufort, Hilton Head Island, 76 in Charleston, Somerville, 74 in Orangeburg, 75 Georgetown, Murrells Inlet, as well as Myrtle Beach, 74 in Conway, Florence, 75 in Sumter, 73 Columbia, 70 inside of New Bern, 68 in Greenwood, 64 Lawrence, and 61 in Greenville, 60 in Spartanburg, as well as Gaffney, 65 York, and 66 in Rock Hill. Now for our air quality, we do in fact have a little moderate over there inside of the PD areas, the western PD areas. Everybody else, though, we're looking good. Just that small area over there. So if you're in that area and you're going to be outside for a long period of time tonight, just make sure you know what the air quality is looking like. Low temperatures for tonight, we're talking about 60s and 70s. 60 Spartanburg, 67 in Columbia, Camden, Orangeburg, 73 in Charleston, 72 Myrtle Beach, 74 Hilton Head Island, 68 from Kingstree, Florence, and Dillon. High temperatures for tomorrow, 70s and 80s. 78 Greenville, 79 Spartanburg, 86 in Columbia, Orangeburg, 85 in Walterboro, Moncks Corner, 84 Georgetown, 81 Myrtle Beach. So we definitely are starting to receive those higher temperatures at a more normal rate now. So especially if you're down there inside the Low Country, the PD areas, the Grand Strand, Midland, Southern Midland areas, 80s are starting to become almost a daily occurrence now. So I think we're finally starting to move into that shift of where we may not see any more cooler temperatures down in this region until later this year. Rainfall for this next 24 hours or so, we're looking at around pretty much a tenth of an inch or more for everybody statewide at this point. I mean, we see a tenth of an inch to a quarter of an inch from Spartanburg to Greenville to Charleston to Hilton Head Island, quarter of an inch to a half an inch for like Rock Hill, Myrtle Beach, Georgetown, half an inch to an inch for like Moncks Corner, going into Kingstree, Florence, and somebody may even see around a good inch to an inch and a half. Inch to an inch and a half is possible. SPC outlook for today, no thunderstorms, or at least no severe thunderstorms. No severe thunderstorms are expected at this time. Tomorrow, no severe thunderstorms. And Monday, no severe thunderstorms. So that's one thing that they have in common. But the obvious other thing that they have in common is thunderstorm activity is expected for tonight, tomorrow, and for Monday. So we will not escape the thunderstorm risk, but it will still be hopefully not too strong of storms like severe weather. One thing that we definitely cannot escape, though, is excessive rainfall. Excessive rainfall for tonight is possible. Isolated flash flooding up here for parts of the upstate, Greenville, Spartanburg, Gaffney, Lancaster, Bennettsville. And then as you go into, or excuse me, that's actually day 5, so we can work our way backwards, I guess. But that was day 5, so that was on Wednesday. So this is what Wednesday looks like, I should say. Isolated flash flooding for these areas. On Tuesday, next week Tuesday, isolated flash flooding up here. That includes the upstate, that includes the Midlands, going on a bit inside the PD areas as well. So isolated flash flooding will continue through Tuesday. Monday, Memorial Day comes along, and now we start to see that slight risk come along as we get into Memorial Day, as we see isolated to scattered flash flooding up there inside of the upstate. Greenville, Spartanburg, Anderson, Walhalla is included in there. Then tomorrow, again, isolated flash flooding for pretty much the entire state except for this area down here in the Low Country, North Charleston, Hollywood, Beaufort, Ridgeland. And then on day 1, which is tonight, isolated flash flooding up here for the entire upstate and the Midlands. So a lot of stuff, like just a bunch of stuff. And just in terms of flash flooding in general, it looks like that's going to be one of our main concerns here. One of our main concerns is going to be this flood risk right here. Now, as we go on and take a look at the crazy score, if you have no idea what the crazy score is, it is a score that we see how active our conditions are throughout the entire state of South Carolina. And so right now, we are at a 41. We're at a 41. Inside that moderate category, well, pretty obvious as of why moderate rain, minor storms are possible, and maybe a little isolated flash flood risk. Now let's go in and take a look at the models. So we're going to start off with the short term first. As always. And so just as we go in and push this into tonight, here at 9 o'clock p.m., we push this into around 11 p.m., 12 o'clock in the morning, all the way to around 1 and 2 o'clock. You see some rainfall going on up here inside of the very far upstate. And then as you go into around 3 o'clock in the morning, going through 5 to 7 o'clock in the morning, you see more rainfall, more thunderstorm activity kind of going on. Now, as you get into tomorrow afternoon, same old story, but that's when we start to see a little bit of an increase in terms of our activity statewide. We're starting to see more showers, more storms start to pop up once we get into tomorrow afternoon, going into tomorrow evening, and watch as we get into tomorrow night, Sunday night, going into Monday, Memorial Day. Things look pretty hectic, but especially because it looks almost like a little line of storms starting to form. But then once we start off Monday morning, things don't look too bad. I mean, you may have some showers, some heavy downpours in the low country Monday morning, but it doesn't really start getting too active elsewhere until you get to around the afternoon. So an active 48 hours is definitely in our future, as we're going to continue to see rainfall activity tonight. But it obviously won't be as widespread. Now, what's going on in terms of our long-term future? So after, the short term, once we're done with that, well, Monday finishes off by still being active. So if you have any outdoor plans for Memorial Day, I'm not quite sure it's going to be the best time. I mean, I'm just going to be honest. It doesn't look like it's going to be a good time at all. So that's for Monday. Tuesday comes along. Still, more rainfall activity Wednesday. Thursday, those days don't really look that bad. But watch as we get into the end of next week. Friday going into Saturday, we see some more rainfall going through. Sunday comes along going into Monday of next week. And I will say, it definitely looks a lot better then. Sunday going into Monday next week. Not like tomorrow and the day after Monday. I'm talking about the week after next week. And then things definitely look a lot better. I mean, just as we get into the week after next week, things definitely do look a lot better in terms of our rainfall. So hopefully this rainfall that we get now with all of these days of potential flash flooding that we may have, that we really get some help on the drought side, because obviously the drought looks horrible throughout the entire state right now. We know that we need rainfall. Everybody here needs rainfall. I've been told by so many people that they need rainfall at their house badly. And so I definitely I do agree that even at my house as well, we need rainfall over here. And I'm pretty sure it's the same throughout everybody that's listening right now. Needs rainfall at their house right now. But fortunately, we know rainfall is coming. We just gotta wait. Now, how much rainfall are we expecting? Obviously, we can't tell exactly if we look at a 300 to 400 hour time frame, but we can at least get some averages in, see what's going on. And as I go on and push this over to around 300 to 400 hours or so, one thing I will say is the GEFS, which is the GFS ensembles, kind of have us around maybe a 2 3/4 of an inch all the way up to around 6 inches or so. So a good amount over the next 300 to 400 hours, and this would be amazing. It'd be absolutely amazing if we could see this rainfall. What about the European? This is the 18Z. We got to move back to the 12Z real quick, and it kind of has everybody around 4 to 6 inches of rainfall, which would also be very good. Probably the best case scenario. I mean, I will take as much rainfall as we can get. Easily, we can take as much rainfall as we can get. And one thing I will say is, if we look at the timing of it, a lot of that rainfall tries to move through, obviously, as we get throughout this weekend going into next week, and it kind of gradually builds its way as we get more throughout the next 300 to 400 hours. And it kind of still does kind of grow even as you get more and more into June. So we'll see what happens. But for right now, I do think that the majority, or at least a good amount of this rainfall, could fall from this weekend. So a good thing to look forward to. Temperature-wise, it looks like that it's going to continue to be just a battle between warm and cooler air. We've been talking about that for a couple of days now. And so warm air, cooler air, kind of just mixing here and there. But once we move more into next week, we're starting to see some warmer air trying and dominate a little bit. But watch as we get to the end of the week. The end of the week comes along, Friday, May the 29th. Cooler air around 10 to 15 degrees below average start to move in throughout the state. So the end of next week could be pretty chilly. Now, obviously, when we say chilly, it's this time of year going into May the 29th. We're not talking about 50s as a high or 60s as a high. We're talking about maybe like some high 70s, low 80s as highs, and then maybe like some 60s for some lows. We're not talking about winter temperatures or even fall temperatures. We're talking about summer, but a bit cooler temperatures. And watch as we get through Saturday. I mean, this is Saturday right here on next week, Saturday. I know it's, 7 days away, but 25 to 30 degrees below average. That would be something right there if that was to happen. Now, as we continue throughout next weekend, temperatures continue to stay below average by a ton. And then it kind of stays like that as you get more and more into June. But don't worry, warmer temperatures will be definitely making a return as we get more and more into the week after next week. And honestly, I could probably even say the week after next week, technically. Now, in terms of our actual temperatures, we're going and push this forward right here through Sunday, through Monday. I mean, we're still seeing 80s. Doesn't matter if it's below average or not. We're still going to see that Wednesday going to Thursday, going into Friday. Still seeing some 80s, but you are seeing some 60s over there. Like in the upstate, you're seeing some 70s up there as well. Watch as we go into Saturday, though. Saturday at around 2 o'clock p.m. Is that a high right there in like the lower 60s right there? I mean, yeah, it is. It is, and I said a bit earlier that I think that we're done with the 50s for highs, but the GFS disagrees. It thinks that we will be inside of the 50s for highs as we get later into next weekend. So we'll see what happens. Obviously, things happen all the time. Weather changes all the time, so it could. If the models are saying it's possible, it's possible, but this is just one model run. If we look at what this was saying yesterday, it was not saying that at all. Even if we look at what it was saying about 6 hours ago, not saying that at all. So it could just be a one-run thing, but we'll see what happens with it overall. But it shows some 50s coming along next weekend, and then some more 70s coming along on that Sunday or so, but 80s still coming on, and maybe even some 90s. And that's pretty much all that I have to say in terms of the deterministic side. Let's go ahead and take a look at the ensembles real quick, then we'll go on and talk with the audience. ensembles here, the GEFS, and then as we go into the mean in terms of temperatures, we're seeing 70s, we're seeing up into the 80s, we're seeing some 90s trying to come along as we get more and more into next week. And then as we get into the week after next week, still, we're seeing some more 90s. So, again, I do believe that we will continue to see warmer temperatures, no matter, how much cool air the models do say that we get. Warmer temperatures are going to be here. It's, we're in spring, getting into summer, literally. In how many days? Like a week and a day, we'll be in meteorological summer. So we don't have that much longer for spring. We do not. We really do not. But that's all that I have to say here in terms of the long-term future. Let's go on now and talk with the audience. If you want to be a part of the audience, you can by joining us here at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Let's see what the audience has to say for tonight. Starting off, Maya Lou was here first. She says, good evening, everyone. Good evening to you. I pray that everyone had a blessed day. Well, thank you so much for that. Mr. Chris says, good evening, everyone. Hope you all had a great day. I did. Great day. I sure did. My granddaughter was born at 7 o'clock in the morning. Well, congratulations to you. Congratulations to you and your family, and I hope all continues to go well with y'all. He also says, please remember to hit the like button and the subscribe button. Also share with everyone that you know. It's free, helps the channel grow. Absolutely. He's absolutely correct. Right now, we've had around a good 10 people tune in tonight, and we only have 5 likes, so go and hit the like button if you have not already. Mount Lou says, today in Georgetown, we had a beautiful day, even though it was off and on showers. Then Mr. Chris says, had a very decent day, got to around 89. Currently, it's around 78. Well, let's see what happened at my house today. At my house, it seems like that currently it's 78. My high temperature was around 87. I got a max wind gust of around 12 miles an hour. Around 12 if I look at my other one. Because that one's usually more higher for when it comes to the winds. And today, it actually was not. So, around 12 miles an hour or so. And then rainfall, only got around 1/100 of an inch. It rained for about 9 minutes today at my house. But it was raining earlier. I believe like late morning, early afternoon. It was raining. Then Thad says, good evening, Justin, the 360 Weather family. Good evening to you. I trust all is well with everyone. It was a glorious day here in San Antonio. We started out with a lot of rainfall from midnight to around 6 to 7 o'clock in the morning. Well, thank you so much for that weather update for where you are. And then just continuing my way down even more. That says it began to let up early. Turned out to be a sunny day. Mr. Chris says, had a small shower here, but nothing to brag about. Then Maya Lewis says today's high was around 82, currently 76. Well, thank you both for that weather information, all 3 of y'all. Banana says, hello, Jay. Thanks to you and Josh for the beautiful evening. Well, no problem at all. No problem at all. It was, honestly wasn't, it was a good time tonight. So hopefully, like I said, we can do something like that again later on. And then continuing down even more, Milo says, yes, we do need rainfall. My garden does. Then Mr. Chris says exactly just as long as it's not heavy rainfall. I guess it does depend. Heavy rainfall, for me, at least for me, it would be well appreciated. I would take some heavy rainfall, even if it was like a real big downpour that came through. I honestly would take it because, the amount of people that need rainfall right now, I would take it, personally. Because, like Mount Lewis says, it would help the drought also. Absolutely. But it's based off of preferences. And then Trail says, greetings, everyone. Greetings to you. And that's all that I can see here. So let's go on now and talk about the 4 areas outside of South Carolina. Well, actually, no. Top fans of the night for tonight. Almost lost myself there. We had an earthquake today. We did, in fact, have an earthquake today. The thing is, though, where was it at? If you can guess where it was, you'll get top fan of the night for tonight. Your options, the upstate, the low country, Grand Turand, PD, or the Midlands. Those are your 5 options. You got to be quick because somebody could get it first try. Now, I do apologize. I came in late. This evening. I was out, and by the time I got home, got to my computer, it was 8:55. So I do unfortunately apologize for the San Antonio, the Raleigh, the Philadelphia, and the Duncan people, but unfortunately, your forecasts have not been updated. Again, do apologize. I came in late. By the time I got to my computer, like I said, it was around 8:53. So I only had around 7 minutes or so to get stuff set up. So I do apologize. So this information that you see is not correct, but I have the real information. You guys are still going to get y'all's forecast no matter what happens. So just disregard the info right here. But for you in San Antonio first, you have low temperatures tonight at 69, high temperature for tomorrow at 85, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 69 as well. There is a slight chance of thunderstorms tonight, and then tomorrow there's another slight chance of thunderstorms as well tomorrow. Now, tomorrow night, you're not looking for any sort of rainfall activity at all. No rainfall activity at all. And then if we go in and take a look at your severe weather, at your excessive rainfall, right now I'm not seeing anything. So it looks like that you are overall good. In terms of excessive rainfall, you do have a risk. Tuesday, scatter flash flooding is possible. And then tomorrow, on Wednesday, Wednesday next week, isolated flash flooding is also possible for you. So Tuesday, scatter flash flooding. Wednesday, isolated flash flooding is possible. Now for your future, honestly, it does look like that you will continue to kind of just stay in the 80s, but you will get back into the 90s next week at the end of the week. Looks like on Friday you may be back up into the 90s or so. And then just in terms of rainfall rates, rainfall will continue to be pretty active for you. And they're already talking about Tuesday night about storms producing heavy rainfall already. So that's what I'm saying with that risk on Tuesday for your excessive rainfall. You have to really pay attention for that. Then for Raleigh, North Carolina, you have low temperatures tonight at around 63. High temperature for tomorrow at 82. And then low temperatures tomorrow night at 66. Showers are likely tonight, and then tomorrow showers are expected. Tomorrow night showers are likely. For your severe weather, for your excessive rainfall, it looks like that you are good here. So I will say that you have nothing to really worry about. In terms of your excessive rainfall, you do have a risk for excessive rainfall for tomorrow. Sunday, isolated flash flooding is possible. Monday, isolated flash flooding is possible. Tuesday and Wednesday, isolated flash flooding is possible. So isolated flash flooding is going to be your friend as you move throughout next week. Now, in terms of your future, it's just going to be active. Like I said, active. Even as you go into Saturday, you have a chance of rain every single day and every single night until next week, Saturday. Rain is going to be your friend for you for pretty much the majority of the week, and your drought that you have over there should honestly be scared at this point because of how much rainfall you may get. Now, as we go on and take a look at your temperatures are going to continue to kind of be up into the upper 80s, but then as you get more and more into next week, you're going to kind of try and go back down to the 70s or so. Then for Philadelphia, you have low temperatures tonight at 50, high temperature for tomorrow at 68, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at around 57. Precipitation is definitely possible for you. Rain is expected tonight. Showers are expected tomorrow, and then tomorrow night showers are likely. For your future, no severe weather, no excessive rainfall. Well, no severe weather. Let me check out excessive rainfall real quick. No excessive rainfall risk for you, so you're good there. For your future, temperatures will continue to stay up into the 70s, but don't worry, next week, especially midweek going into late week, you'll be up into the 80s once again. And your rainfall will try to stop as you get into around Tuesday and Wednesday. Finally, for Duncan, Oklahoma, you have low temperatures tonight at 62, high temperature for tomorrow at 82, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 63. In terms of shower activity, you do have a slight chance of storms tonight, but tomorrow, no precipitation is expected. Before I finish this off, let me check out and see if anybody has answered the top fans of the night for tonight, and it seems like The Mr. Chris was the only one who answered, and he said the upstate, and that is incorrect. That is incorrect. So you can go in and try again, or if anybody else wants to tune in, I mean, honestly, the floor is open to anybody. I mean, you could put in all the answers. Well, don't do that. But you could put in any answer. If one of the how many people are even in here right now? We have around a good 10 people in here right now. Everybody could at least say one answer, and somebody's guaranteed to get it correct at this point. So I'm going and put it inside the chat right now. Severe weather for you inside of Duncan right now. It does seem like that you do have a risk of some isolated flash flooding on Tuesday and Wednesday. Then for your future, in terms of temperature-wise, you're going to continue to be up into the 80s. Going to kind of drop into the 70s once you get to around Wednesday. Then back into the 80s once you get later into next week. Precipitation also going to be kind of the same thing. It's going to be pretty active for you as you get into around Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I mean, chance of showers and storms like every single day. And that's pretty much all for you. So let's see what's going on throughout the entire U.S. Well, it says a wet Memorial Day weekend is in store for the East with widespread rainfall of 1 to more than 2 inches expected from the Gulf Coast to the southern New England areas. Well above normal temperatures are forecast to build across the northern plains, and another round of heavy rainfall to excessive rainfall is expected to impact the western Gulf Coast this weekend with flood watches in effect. So a good amount of stuff going on. And we also do have some severe weather as well. I know we had a pretty bad tornado in Alabama yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see. Just trying to make sure I'm not bringing any bad information out. But I'm pretty sure, yeah, it was on Friday. So it was yesterday. There was 4 tornadoes that was reported over inside of Alabama. I know there was one over there near Vance, Alabama. I think that was one. And then there was also another one as well. They said National Weather Service, as of Saturday afternoon, has confirmed 4 tornadoes and severe storms on Friday. 3 of the 4 were in Central, and the other one was in North Alabama. There was one in Marengo County from Exmoor, the Sparks Road tornado in Marengo and Hale counties, and there was another one from Bama Rock Road tornado. That's in Tuscaloosa. And then there was also another one in Coleman County in Baileyton or so. So, yeah, EF1. This one was an EF0, EF1, and then also an EF1. So, I mean, it looks like that the majority of this severe weather that we are seeing is still going to occur. I mean, we're still going to see. We have severe storms possible in Texas tonight. We already see it going on. We have severe weather going on tomorrow, Nebraska, Kansas, Iowa, Minnesota tomorrow. And then on Monday, things seem to take a little bit of a chill pill. So I don't think that we'll be seeing anything else there. Let's see. Thad said, Mr. Question. Well, Mr. Chris got that. I will reveal the answer in just a second, but we did get a question from my dad who says, when is the rain stopping? When is the rain stopping inside of Birmingham? Well, right now, I don't see any rainfall in Birmingham at all right now, except for if you're on that northeastern side. But for right now, I mean, the main area, not receiving any rainfall right now. And we're going to go in and switch this over to the models real quick on this website. And looking at the 0Z right now, I'm going to go in and pause this real quick. And just as we move into tonight, I mean, you're still going to have that chance of rainfall as you go into tonight. You can see the rainfall rates kind of moving in there. So rainfall definitely is still possible for you as you move into tonight. But tomorrow morning, still looks like more rainfall is trying to come towards you. This is around 7 a.m. here, going into around 8 o'clock in the morning. And then once you move through around 12 o'clock p.m., going into 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock right here. So, yeah, rainfall is definitely not going to be done with y'all throughout the good amount of tomorrow. I mean, you're seeing heavy rainfall rates. You're seeing heavy thunderstorms maybe trying to move through as well, even as you move into tomorrow night. Going into Monday morning, Memorial Day, where rainfall rates are still going to be trying to increase as you have showers to your south and west. So, rainfall is not going to be stopping over there for a good little bit, but you will have breaks. But rainfall, honestly, all over the place. And also, one more thing over here inside of South Carolina. There is a special weather statement that has been issued over here for Turbeville, New Zion, and then also in Sardinia in South Carolina as well. That's moving up to the north and east. That has wind gusts up to 50 miles per hour, moving towards Florence right now. So there's just a whole bunch of stuff going on, statewide, nationwide, wherever it is. Just a whole bunch of stuff going on. But now for the question. We did get a correct answer, and it was Mr. Chris. He said the Midlands, so kind of been a very good day for Mr. Chris as he obviously just got the top fan of the night for tonight. So let's go and give him a round of applause. So yes, it was inside the Midlands. It was over there in Irmo, South Carolina. Or I guess 11 kilometers north of Irmo, just to the north of Columbia. It was a 1.9, so it was very weak. But obviously, make sure you're always prepared just in case, if worse comes to worse with an earthquake. You always may hear people say, "Oh, well, we're due for an earthquake," or "Oh, we're gonna be watching. We need to be prepared because the next major earthquake's gonna hit sometime soon." We don't know. We don't know. It could happen. It may not happen. It may happen. We don't know. You can't forecast earthquakes at all. So you just gotta continue to make sure you're prepared for an earthquake just in case if it does happen. But that's all that I have to say. I will be back tomorrow morning with your Sunday morning forecast update. Make sure that if you have not hit the subscribe button yet, go on and do so. We're at 734, trying to get to 800. Also hit the share button. Share with your friends, your family members, your acquaintances, and people that you don't talk to regularly because it's free. It's free. It's free. Also, you can share as many times as you want. And also remember, let's see. We have around a good 15 people tuned in and 10 likes. So if you're part of that group of 5 that have not hit the like button yet, go on and do so. It's free. Everyone have a fantastic rest of your Saturday, and I'll be back tomorrow.